It's 8 p.m. in Banjul, and this is the news. First, the headlines. Vote counting continues in Thursday's by-election in the Lower Salem constituency. Reports say voter turnout was satisfactory. Nutritionists and stakeholders gathered to raise awareness of the importance of breastfeeding, particularly among working mothers. Heavy downpours triggered by seasonal monsoon rain leave thousands of people dead and millions others displaced in the Indian subcontinent. And Egypt embarks on an ambitious multi-billion-dollar project which is set to transform the strategic Suez Canal into a huge money spinner for one of Arab world's most important nations. These and other stories coming ahead this half hour. I am Moudin Jai. Former Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces, Lang Tombong Tamba, has extended a message of gratitude to President Jammeh, His Excellency Chief Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya Ejeje Jammeh Babili Mansa, and it reads, Your Excellency, first and foremost, I would like to give praise to the Almighty Allah for this very important day in my life, reunion with my family and friends. Without adequate words, though, it is with profound gratitude and sincere appreciation that I write this letter to Your Excellency for exercising the prerogative of mercy by releasing me from sentence. My release is of utmost benefit to my family and relations, and therefore we will continue to be grateful to you for this generosity of spirit. I pray that Allah the Almighty continue to protect you on all fronts, guide and grant you a healthy life, so you continue driving this country to the highest level of development. Your Excellency, your action has sent an important message to the whole world that the Gambia, under your visionary leadership, is tolerant, respectful of our cultural norms and values, as well as wishes, within the context of our governance system, oneness and sympathy to one another. Furthermore, this audacious initiative clearly reiterates your democratic resilience, love, and this will place the Gambia as a robust frontier for democracy, which upholds our cultural and religious norms of mercy and forgiveness. I am proud of you and your government for having considered us for pardon, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala positively reward you abundantly. The past few years of my custody were difficult. However, these difficult days were not just moments of restriction, but rather had transformed me spiritually and brought me closer to the Almighty Allah than I was. My pride goes beyond having learned and completed reciting the Holy Book of Islam, the Holy Quran, but I can now confirm I am a person whose faith in all aspects has been strengthened. Alhamdulillah. Excellency, it is my conviction that your decision to release all the ex-convicts was in the spirit of tolerance, your in-depth knowledge of the contents and your beliefs in the teachings of the two holy books, the Holy Quran and Bible, Pan-Africanism, sympathy, national reconciliation and development. It is within the same spirit, therefore, that I wish to pledge to you, the government, that the people of the Gambia, of my allegiance at all times and forever. In addition, I also humbly ask for forgiveness from all the Gambian people, including Your Excellency, that I might have wronged or caused any inconvenience while I was serving my custodial sentence. While I assure you and the entire country of my unwavering loyalty and continuous reconciliatory spirit, I must state that under no circumstances will I ever forget your nobleness in pardoning me. Sincerely, therefore, may I take this opportunity to, on behalf of my humble self and my family, profoundly thank you for the good gesture and wish you and the entire Force family good health and long life. Furthermore, and to end my letter for now, I will wish to deeply assure that all contents of this letter emanates from the bottom of my heart, and I shall uphold to whatever is stated, inshallah. Importantly also, I wish to pray for the state mother, Aja Asombi Bojang, that Allah protect and give her good health and long life so that she continues to give the motherly inspiration to the nation. In conclusion, please accept, Your Excellency, the assurances of my highest consideration and fraternal esteem. Long live the Gambia, long live Your Excellency. The message concludes. Polling in the Lower Salem National Assembly by-election kicked off as early as 8 a.m. and closed at 5 p.m. The ballot pits APRC's Kabature against Modu Bambagay of the NRP in a constituency that has 14 polling stations. The process has been described as problem-free by Aliu Momar Njai, IEC Commissioner for both CRR and URR, Janelle M. Hurt, Public Affairs Officer in Banjul, as well as the various polling agents representing the contesting parties. The turnout was satisfactory, even though it was not the least impressive on the part of male voters. A recent blame on ongoing farming activities. We hope to bring you more on the developing story as and when we receive any. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of the Gambia Thursday convened a press briefing on the current economic developments, both locally and on the international stage. Monetary experts say agricultural output has contracted compared to the previous year, while total assets of the banking system registered significant progress. We have details of that story by GRTS's Winifred Nicole Hodibat.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of the Gambia Thursday convened the latest round of the CBG's quarterly overview and forecast of the global economic developments and the state of the domestic economy. Experts say the outlook of the global economy has been faced with challenges relating to debt crisis in Greece and decline in equity prices in China and a general slowdown of economic activities. The steady but slow improvement in the Eurozone has continued, and bank officials say that situation could likely depend on avoiding spillovers from the Greek debt crisis. Agricultural output is estimated to have increased by 8.4%, likewise the industrial sector. The monetary and banking sector developments continue to make progress due to the fast pace of expansion on the net domestic assets.
Transactions in the domestic foreign exchange market increased to 1.4% from a year earlier. In the year to end June 2015, the dollar appreciated against the US dollar by 5.6%, euro 24.4%, and British pound 8.1%.
The inflation outlook, according to experts, has accelerated above the 5% target of the Monetary Policy Committee.
The Monetary Policy Committee is concerned that consumer price inflation continue to exceed the target of 5%, and inflation is forecast to remain at elevated levels. Failure to act against these heightened prices may cause prices to accelerate further and the high inflation expectation to become more entrenched.
The committee is therefore hopeful of further tightening their grip on monetary policy stance through the following measures.
1. Keeping the policy rate unchanged at 23%. And 2. Maintain the reserve requirement at 15% of deposit liabilities. But to eliminate cash in vault of commercial banks as a reserve asset for the calculation of cash reserve requirement, the CRR, with effect from September 1st, 2015. The Monetary Policy Committee will continue to monitor domestic and international developments and take action as appropriate.
Reporting for GRTS News, I am Winifred Nicole Hodibat.
The National Nutrition Agency recently organized a procession along the BC Keraba Avenue to their head office to raise awareness of the benefits of breastfeeding, especially among working mothers. Momodi Jallo reports on the latest advocacy campaign undertaken by the agency to promote and protect this important cultural practice, which officials believe is indispensable in the health and growth of the infant.
World Breastfeeding Week, which is held annually, has already started on August 1st and will run until the 7th for this year. The theme for this year is breastfeeding and work. Let's make it work. This focuses on empowering women to breastfeed and work at the same time. The organization believes that women should claim their rights to breastfeed regardless of the nature of their work. This is because breastfeeding has numerous benefits, not only for babies, but for mothers as well. As part of the celebration of World Breastfeeding Week, the National Nutrition Agency organized a march past. We started from the Emporium and ended at the agency's headquarters and was followed by speeches revolving around the theme. Speaking at the occasion, Alpha Jallow of the World Health Organization said that infants should be exclusively breastfed and that breastfeeding has multiple benefits not only for the mother and child, but the nation as well. He disclosed that government should make breastfeeding a priority.
We need to tackle all the barriers to breastfeeding. Governments should lead its charge by making breastfeeding a policy priority in national development plans, increasing resources for programming that supports breastfeeding, and working with communities and families to promote the full benefits of breastfeeding.
This shows that breastfeeding is important for national development, and therefore every effort should be made to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding. Pamodu Cheyasin Fall, the executive director of NANA, said that breastfeeding is part of our culture, and it's left to us to protect the practice so that we can pass it on to the next generations.
Universally, breastfeeding is the right mode of feeding an infant, and we all know in the Gambia breastfeeding has been part of our culture. This is something that our great-great-grandparents have passed on to us, and now we, the present generation, and you, the future ones, I think it's left to us to see how we can protect that breastfeeding culture that they handed over to us, how we can promote it, and how we can support it, so that we too, without embracing anything about breastfeeding, we pass it on to the next generation, so that the other generation can also pass it to the other generation for posterity.
The focus now is to enhance the advocacy campaign by working with stakeholders such as the Nana's Children's Club, which is a group of young people, to reach out to communities. The ultimate goal of NANA is to achieve and even surpass the global target of at least 50% for exclusive breastfeeding in the first 6 months amongst nursing mothers. Mamadou Jallow, GRTS News.
Participants from various institutions have concluded a day-long training on consumer protection. The forum, organized by the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, is meant to promote the welfare of consumers in a very competitive market. Rahibite tells us more.
In this global world market, where several varieties of products are now making it to various markets, it is vital to have control mechanisms as regards the quality and standard of products entering the country. It is for this reason that the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, as part of its mandate to enforce, advocate, and build capacity of its stakeholders, held this training on competition and consumer protection.
An independent authority like the GCC provides a source of consistent information to businesses and consumers about their rights and provide administrative savings and skills enhancement through the pooling of information, skills, and expertise. If you look at the mandate of the GCC-PC, you can pretty much break it down into 3 things: enforcement, advocacy, and capacity building. But to do advocacy and to do enforcement very well, you need to build capacity. That's why capacity building is high on our agenda.
The protection of consumers with regards to the buying of products, many argue, is important. The Gambia has recently seen enormous efforts injected in this area. But as Justice Awaba puts it, work of the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission is timely, as it considers the risks consumers are exposed to if certain measures are not taken. She, however, raised concern as to whether stakeholders are adequately equipped with the right tools to enforce their duties. Justice Ba also urged all stakeholders to play their part for it to work, taking into consideration the low-income consumers.
In order to save the poor consumer out there, a commission such as Mr. Cesius needs to be put in place, and a tribunal needs to be put in place so that the interests of the poor man out there can also be looked at. Because you don't have the enough purchasing power does not mean you should be given something that is of less quality, something that will end up being harmful to you or not being useful to you at the end of the day. Whatever resources you have, I believe you should be able to get something of quality from that amount that you have. On the part of the judiciary of the Gambia, our role was to facilitate the setting up of the tribunal which the commission needs for it to be able to carry out one of its most critical mandates.
The absence of competition is said to be harmful for any local industry. As competition experts say, it increases choices for consumers, reduces prices, and increases quality. with competition law experts taking them through reinforcing competition law in the Gambia, market integration and competition law, as well as modes of protecting consumers. It is hoped that by the end of the one-day training, participants' knowledge on competition and consumer protection will be broadened. Rahibite, GRTS.
And news just coming in from the by-election in the Lower Salem constituency. The chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Alhaji Mustafa Kariol, has just announced the results for Lower Salem constituency National Assembly by-election, with Kaba Toure of the APRC scoring 1,618 votes, whilst Modu Bambagay of NRP received 2,764 votes. Total votes cast was 4,382, and according to reports, there were no invalid votes. Modu Bambagay of NRP has been duly declared winner of the said by-election by the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Alhaji Mustafa L. Kariol. The Gambia Investment Export Promotion Agency has concluded a 10-day forum on business development training under the Emprotech project. Modu Bajan has details of that story in this news report.
Sponsored by the government of the Gambia and UNDP, the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency GIPA recently concluded a week-long workshop on business development advisors training under its Emprotech project. Speakers, including Emmanuel Lamte, a consultant from Emprotech Ghana, stated among his impressions the various significance of such an endeavor, while encouraging participants to utilize the knowledge and skills gained during the week-long workshop.
This is my second time in Gambia, but I must commend the participants and even the organizers, Emprotech Gambia, for the selection. Because amongst participants, I could see some amount of maturity and amount of, I would say, experience. And to my knowledge, just about 2 people, I would say maybe didn't have access to or show some aspect of computer illiteracy. And I want to encourage them that this should not be the end. As Mr. Swabo said, we're giving them a lot of materials. There are a handbook, and there are a lot of reading materials, background materials, which they need to read. And then on their own, they can go to the internet. I was told that, and I've seen it, that Emprotech Gambia has a Facebook. And I opened it this afternoon, and they need to connect to know what is happening.
Giving her conclusion message, the Chief Executive Officer of GIPA, Fatu M. Jallo, equally advised participants, highlighting that business development in the country is among the aims of this convergence of business individuals.
Subsequently, some of you, I'm not sure whether it's everybody, will be giving businesses that you were expected to support over a period of 6 months. Now, this requires resources, it requires time. It's not only financial resources, but also in terms of time, for us at the center and for you as well. And why we're doing all of this, again, I have to emphasize, is really to be able to support our businesses, to be able to see the growth. Because that's why we're saying this program is different. It's not just about training, and once in a while you go and visit your, your clients and then you do a report. We have to be able to measure the impact in terms of the knowledge we have given you, but also how are you using this in terms of your advisory services to your clients.
CEO Jallo, however, added the essentiality of customer orientation and satisfaction as part of the training. As stated by the UNDP resident representative, progress on poverty reduction and employment creation has not been commensurate with modest growth in recent years. Yemes Raj Asefa also highlighted other significant issues regarding the youth and business development.
As you all know, Gambia has been making progress in terms of reducing poverty, and it's been trying hard to try and reduce poverty, but it's not been an easy task. Close to 1 million of people in the Gambia right now are multidimensionally poor, and we hope to reduce poverty significantly over the course of the next many years to come.
Aimed at contributing to the transformation of the business sector into an engine of growth as well as an anchor for economic diversification, job creation and greater economic development for youth and women in particular, Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency's Emprotech project may be essentially supportive in ensuring development in the country's entrepreneurship arena. Modu Bajan reporting for GRTS News.
A memorandum of understanding was signed between Reliance Financial Service and Gamtel. The contract signing of Gamtel Fiber Network to Reliance marks a key milestone for both companies. We have details in this report.
The commissioning ceremony of the fiber network project between Gamtel and Reliance Financial Services is considered a huge milestone in the growing partnership between the two companies. The event, held at the headquarters of Reliance Financial Services, attracted officials from both companies.
We want to celebrate the successful completion and handing over of Reliance connectivity to the Gamtel fiber optic internet service being provided in the Gambia. For us, this represents a key milestone in our quest to contribute in the development of the overall financial ecosystem of the Gambia, leveraging on reliable, secure, and very fast internet connectivity for all our branches in all regions of the Gambia.
Mr. Sajo Khan, who spoke on behalf of Gamtel's managing director, stated that financial institutions have a lot to do in terms of protecting consumer data, owing to the fact that they are dealing with consumer information.
We are not here to caricature or to belittle anybody, but this is a technology that has taken the lead in telecom service provision since decades ago. And until today, fiber has been the most robust, the most reliable and secure medium of transmission as far as telecoms is concerned. Being the national telecom provider, we've taken it as an obligation to us to push, to sell, to connect to customers.
Reliance Head of Information Technology, Momodu Diouf, has been asked about the systems they have in place to see that the cooperation between Reliance and Gamtel runs smoothly.
I have to express our delight, our satisfaction over this project, because since we launched it, we have observed some significant improvement in our service delivery. And why we were able to do this is because Gamtel and Reliance have common customers, which is the general public. And for us to serve the general public, we need the platforms, we need the system, technology-wise, to deliver efficient and reliable services. So we had a business plan that we discussed with Gamtel, and they thought like us, and we were able to put heads together and come up with such an initiative, launched it, worked together, both from the technical and business perspective, and we were able to deliver the project successfully.
Diouf further noted that they will continue to monitor the performance of the network, as well as its effective upgrading in accordance with the business need of their clientele.
Improve customer satisfaction, because like I said, our customers are the same, the general public, and our wish is to serve them, to serve their needs. So if we understand their needs and want to serve them, we have to get the vehicle, the platform to be able to do that efficiently and effectively. And if that happens, then both companies will benefit in terms of business growth, in terms of continuing to exist as a company from now up to the end of time, inshallah.
Gamtel Senior Marketing Manager, Mr. Mustafa Sise, for his part said, this fiber network is one of the most reliable and secured internet connectivity in the world of telecoms.
Yes, Reliance and Gamtel have a good and a long relationship. We have been together in this for so many years. Since their inception, they have been with Gamtel with one service or the other. And we hope and pray that the relationship will be fruitful and it will continue for a very, very long time, that Reliance and Gamtel will be, working together for the benefit of not only their customers and Gamtel's customers, but for the entire country.
Gamtel and Reliance Financial Services are two companies that boast of a long-standing relationship, with this year marking 9 years since the inception of Reliance Financial Services in the Gambia. Aissatou Keita, GRTS.
The National Environment Agency, NEA, wishes to inform the general public that the next Operation Clean the Nation is scheduled for this Saturday, 8 August 2015. In this regard, all National Assembly members, governors, sefolus, alkalolus, ward councillors, local plastic manufacturers, importers, as well as small-scale water packaging enterprises and government institutions that are being reminded that a strong presidential directive has been issued requiring all stakeholders to organize and participate in the national cleanup exercise within their respective areas of jurisdiction. The general public is also reminded that restricted number of permits for movement of essential vehicles will be available upon application at the National Environment Agency. All individuals, institutions and organizations wishing to acquire such permits should submit their request to the National Environment Agency latest Friday, 7 August 2015. Applications received after this date will not be processed. The message ends. We'll be back with news from outside the Gambia after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Torrential monsoon rains and the aftermath of Cyclone Comet have killed hundreds and displaced millions in Southeast Asia. India is among the hardest hit countries. Hundreds of thousands of people have been moved to relief camps to escape the floods. And the heavy rains have destroyed homes and left entire villages underwater. CNN's Samina Udas is in the flood zone.
7 kilometers from here, roughly around 5 miles, but you can see how far inland the water has come, and people have started fishing on what used to be their farmland.
Hundreds dead, hundreds of thousands of homes damaged, roads submerged. Wading through the floodwater is the only option for many. We hitch a ride with a wedding party. The groom rented his neighbor's rickety boat because he had no other way to bring his bride home. What can I do? I can't change the wedding date, can I? So I had to get married, even in these conditions, he says. Rabindranath Sagar is a potato trader. He says his entire supply for this season has been destroyed. I ask him how he's going to support his new bride. I don't know, he says. Throughout the journey, the village priest blows his auspicious conch shell.
All of this used to be rice paddy fields, and it's actually planting season right now, but as you can see, the entire area has turned into a mini lake of sorts, and it's actually quite deep as well, about 10 to 15 feet.
Those who don't have access to boats are stranded. Entire villages cut off from the outside world for almost a week.
The homes are unlivable, so they've found this dry patch of land and they've built these makeshift shelters over here. They've moved all their livestock as well, but so far they say they've received absolutely no help.
Floods are not uncommon here. They happen every monsoon season, but this is the worst it's been in years, they say. After a long journey, Rabindranath and Komala are finally home. A welcoming ritual is performed. The holy water may not be as clean as it should be. The celebrations perhaps not perfect. People making the best of it, even in the worst of times.
Something has to be said about the resilience of the people here. They deal with so much hardship on a day-to-day basis, and floods like these are a huge setback for them, but still they persevere.
And before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's main stories. Vote counting is continuing in Thursday's by-election in the Lower Salem constituency. Reports say voter turnout was satisfactory. Nutritionists and stakeholders have gathered to raise awareness of the importance of breastfeeding, particularly among working mothers. Heavy downpours triggered by seasonal monsoon rains have left thousands of people dead and millions others displaced in the Indian subcontinent. And Egypt is embarking on an ambitious multi-billion-dollar project which is set to transform the strategic Suez Canal into a huge money spinner for one of Arab world's most important nations. Well, that was all in this edition of the News at 8. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Join us at 10 o'clock again for more news.